Mr. Sarazzin, thank you for talking to Kosovo.
Dobar dan.
After the February meeting in Brussels and March meeting in Ohrid, how does Germany evaluate the agreement that was reached and the implementation plan?
Well, we are glad that Ohrid was a success, and we think that this is a really important chance for the region, for Kosovo, Serbia and the whole region to proceed, to go on and to go clearly on the European path of the region, but also of both countries. And we think that implementation is key, and the story can be a really great success story if we manage out to get implementation done. And I think as soon as we go on in working on the concrete steps, it can be really like one step is leading to another in a not typical for the Western Balkans sense of a positive move shows up to be the reason for next positive move, which might be the reason for next positive move. And I know that a lot of people in the region will say I'm an idiot because I'm believing in positive moves. But we have shown in Berlin process that it's possible to reach positive agreements if you are thinking positive. And I think Ohrid can be a changing point from getting from a minus to a plus situation in the region.
What is the German take in bringing two sides together to reach this agreement, actually?
So, actually, we were mainly trying to be helpful as a member state of the European Union. So, I know it's sometimes not been seen in the region, but Germany is only one of 27 member states in the European Union. Okay, we're the biggest, but it doesn't mean that we are something different. So, we were trying to support and trying to put our capacities at the service of the High Representative of the European Union, Mr. Borrell, and the Special Representative for the region and the dialogue, which is Mr. Lajčák. So we were the good guys working for the bosses in Brussels, and perhaps even a bit more than working. So this was our role.
A bit more than working. What does that mean exactly?
And we were putting harsh pressure on both sides to agree and try to tell them, listen, this is your chance, don't miss this chance. You will perhaps not get many more.
Do you believe that this agreement will be implemented with the same efficiency, let's say, as it was reached, although behind the public curtain, actually? What are the difficulties to implement this agreement? What do you think?
I think the biggest question always in politics is political will.
Is there political will in this case?
I think that many people don't trust the political will which has been shown in Ohrid. So it is decisive that now in the implementation the political will is proved.
Do you think that there is actually political will of Belgrade in Prishtina to implement this agreement? Or is it just buying time, let's say it like that?
Well, I have to be honest, I'm going tonight to Belgrade, so I haven't been talking to Serbian officials yet. I was seeing some press statements and press conferences, so I would wait with a clear judgment on their political will until I got the impression also from personal talking, not only from press conferences. After my talks in Prishtina yesterday, and I think this is for the audience from Kosovo especially important, yesterday in Prishtina, the Kosovo government and other officials gave me the clear indication that there's a political will to deliver what has been agreed in Ohrid. And I can also say that we clearly demand from them to not only deliver nice words of implementation, but also steps of implementation and going forward. And I think this is like what we are trying to play now. Yeah.
We are hearing actually all the time that this agreement will improve lives of Serbs. How exactly? Can you tell me how exactly will that happen? What is this agreement bringing to Kosovo Serbs?
So if you look to Serbia, we have 80,000 German jobs. And just in April, I think there was, for example, one big plant opened, which was 200 million euros investment. And you know the German cars from Mercedes, the E-Class, they have huge screens all over the front. And the screens, they're not only produced in this new plant in Novi Sad, they're also developed in Serbia. You got great jobs, you got great payment, you have a kindergarten, you got a doctor in the factory, you even have an Oktoberfest. This is the jobs German companies are doing in Serbia. In the meantime, 80,000 German, such a kind of jobs in Serbia. How many do you have here? What is Vučić doing to attract these companies from Germany? he's offering stability and a European path for Serbia. This is the main argument why you get German companies to be there. You need stability, you need a clarity about the future of this region, also about the communities in the north, as on their path to European Union as a part of Kosovo. Then you have the stability and the possibility to go forward. And I think that this agreement is a chance to give a clear framework how to reach the stability, this clarity about the future. And I think this can unleash potential, which is here. Yeah? The biggest trading partner for Kosovo is European Union, is Germany, economical partner. But of course, Serbia is also important as an economical partner for Kosovo, for all the region. And also what we do with Kosovo, there's a lot of going physically through Serbia. So it's clear that a lot of chances for Serbian economies also in Kosovo. And for this, I mean, here it's the part where you can bridge this together. But you need a clear framework for the outlook. What will be the future of North Mitrovica, of South Mitrovica, of the 4 communities in the north, of the Serbs all over Kosovo? What will be the future? That these questions about what's coming are answered. And Ohrid is the chance to give an answer. Don't be afraid about the future. There is a settlement. We will find a way you can come. I think this is the main point. So I cannot promise tomorrow there will be so and so many German jobs coming, because if you sign it, but I think this is the chance to get good jobs, to get better chances for the future, for people who want to live in Kosovo as Serbs.
In basic agreement, we have Article 7. How did you understand the Article 7? Is it like, let's say, less than association of Kosovo Serb majority municipalities, or does it have executive powers? How do you understand this article? What Serbs will get from this article?
Well, I mean, on the one hand, self-management is the frame which is used there, and the question, what is an appropriate level, I will not be able to answer it in the way that everybody outside understands what I mean. I think it's clear that the 2013-2015 agreements on association on Serbian majority municipalities has to be fulfilled, and Article 7 is driving the way how to do it. But I will not make a clear comment on what exactly level of powers this means. This is out of my competences. Mm-hmm. It is important that we find a way of getting a process of finding the right volume or altitude of these questions within the dialogue and within the bodies discussing it. My impression is that this, for Kosovo government, a side very difficult topic of ASMM is now swallowed. And Germany and the international partners have always been clear that we expect Kosovo to deliver on this. And my impression is that this is now also accepted in Prishtina. I might be wrong, but this is what was the impression from my meetings in Prishtina also yesterday, that there is a move forward from them. And we expect them to show this also on the ground within the next days and weeks. So I think this is a huge chance. Of course, only if you want to play this positively to solve it from both sides. If you want to quarrel for the next 25 years about how exactly an ASMM should look like, only to have a reason not to agree, we will not be able to, solve this if the goodwill, the political will from both sides is to use this as a scapegoat for having not an agreement. Yeah? But I think that there is a momentum which is different than that. Mm-hmm. And if I'm wrong with this, then let's try it. Let's see. Yeah? But it doesn't help to be afraid of trying or failure, because if we don't try, we will also not reach anything.
Kosovo Prime Minister said recently a couple of times that he will not allow association as Belgrade wants it. Can they find the common ground? Reach agreement how it should look like. Because European Union always say they should agree about how association should look like. I don't see that both sides have same vision for association. Do you?
I don't see that both sides have the same vision as well. But I think it is possible to reach an agreement to which both sides have to align. And I think this is one of the main aims of the international community coming up now. And I mean, we proved in Berlin that they can sign things together. Brnabić was even sitting in front of Kosovo flag and signing, because we said, okay, yeah, they also said like, okay, it's regional cooperation, yeah, I mean, let's put this aside, let's do something. And the potential of this Ohrid agreement for regional cooperation is so huge to bring Kosovo and Serbia and all the six more close to Europe. There can be so much power of the region and so much hope given by that. I think there is a chance to reach things if both sides are willing to move. Yeah? I think from putting tear gas bombs against any kind of association to I will not agree to what Serbia's vision is already some way gone. So let's try to get something there. Yeah.
So when you said about talks with Kurti and the Kosovo government, so you got message that they're willing to do something about association, or this seventh amendment? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this was the impression which they transported to us, that they are willing to move and to deliver what they promised on Ohrid. And for me, this sounded credible. I mean, you never know in the Western Balkans, but sometimes it's also helpful to take people with their words and to also tell them, we listen what you say publicly, but also to us, and we will stick to what you told us.
Also, when it comes to Article 7, Albanians in south of Serbia want the same rights as Serbs here in Kosovo. They want reciprocity. What do you think? Do you have information? Will there be reciprocity when it comes to implementing this agreement?
I can say that, okay, Serbia is a member of Council of Europe, and so minority rights are an important part of Council of Europe, but also European legislation. And of course, as a partner of Serbia, for us it is interesting and important that citizens of Serbia, whatever ethnicity or background they have, feel aligned to the rights which are usually given for Council of Europe regulations, but also which are necessary for becoming European Union member, are also applied there. But I cannot in detail comment. I'm not really well enough knowledgeable about the concrete situation. Preševo, I had some talks with some mayors, but I think it's not part of the dialogue. And I think that it is not the right point to say Kosovo is the country to make sure that the minority questions in Serbia are settled the right way. Because I think we had in the past too much intrusion from other countries into neighboring countries. And this is more an example which should be perhaps not the way to follow for Kosovo government. So.
Yes, but one of the demands of Kurti actually for implementing the association is reciprocity in rights for Albanians in South Serbia. Have you spoke about that with him? He said anything about that?
Well, I mean, a lot of talks with Kosovo officials are coming up to this topic, and I have to say I don't see a basis in 2013 agreement for dealing with this, although of course I can understand it, but I think that it's a question which should be dealt with in Belgrade and within Belgrade's international obligations. And I think it's not the best idea to post this from Kosovo.
What about Serbian Orthodox Church, which is also mentioned in Article 7 and its status? What Kurti told you about this?
I think that Serbian Orthodox Church future in Kosovo is one of the topics which is underestimated in the importance in the international community sometimes. And that a lot of problems within the possible solution is also because this topic is difficult to touch, as you can see in also neighboring countries, which made some regulation on this, and internal cleavage is coming after. So I think that Ohrid on this regulation is touching something in a good manner, which is really important. But I will not go in detail on this, than just saying that Ohrid is reassuring the rights of Serbian Orthodox Church. And it will be important to find a way within also the existing regulations of international communities to that. Kosovo has an application put to Council of Europe. The question of how to deal with religious rights is one of also important questions of Council of Europe. This is the right framework for dealing with the question of the future of Serbian Orthodox Church inside Kosovo in the right manner. But I will not be more detailed because this will be over my capacities and competences to really detailed analyze it.
How do you comment on the latest events in Kosovo? We had the new car burnings in the north. Also, we had the arrest of one person In the same time, we have Prishtina that connects all of this with Belgrade. Belgrade, on the other side, accuses Prishtina of raising tensions before dialogue. How do you comment about all of this?
Well, I think that the burning of cars is a sincere threat, and we should take it very serious. And it's clear that it's not acceptable. And I think that crimes should be, of course, followed and persecuted by the relevant authorities. And I don't have really big personal information about the person which has been detained, but what I hear is that there were some legal grounds to do it, which are not disputed by anybody, actually. So I think that everybody should choose the persons for whom are going to make public statements, and not have a bad choice there. But in general, I think now is the time for trying to produce calmity and being helpful for positive results in the first steps of implementation. You know, it is like when a child will make the first steps. It might fall first, second, third step. But, you know, it's important to now let it do the first steps, you know. And with every step, it will learn how to do it, and it will get some credibility and self-esteem to work better. This Ohrid agreement is like a child.
When do you actually expect the implementation to begin? Is it starting with association or not? Or something else? Is there any kind of plan in this, regarding to this?
I mean, you know who is leading the dialogue. This is Miro Lajčák, under the auspices of Mr. Borrell, and you have to pose these questions to them, and they will give you more competent answers.
So you don't have any information with regard to this?
Well, I might have some information, perhaps I don't have any information, but I will just forward you to them because they are the masters of the process.
You had a meeting with Srpska Lista. What are their suggestions, requests? What are their concerns and problems?
I was meeting Srpska Lista, but also NGOs from Serbian community in Kosovo. And actually every time I am in Kosovo, and I was in Kosovo in the last 10 years, I was always meeting elected or other representatives of Serbian community to get an impression about, their perspective. And Srpska Lista was telling us about their sorrows and about their perceived weaknesses and mistakes of the government of Kosovo and the current situation and the reasons for their political decision to not take part in the elections, in the local elections which are coming up. And of course also civil society was critical to, on the one hand, the government in Prishtina, but also to Srpska Lista and other representatives of the local Serbian community. And for me it's important to tell to everybody from the Serbian community in Kosovo that we take serious their concerns, and we know about the impression and also the feeling which is existing here, and we acknowledge that. And we also talk with the government in Prishtina, with Kosovo authorities, about the sorrows of Serbian people, which doesn't mean that we follow all the arguments of Srpska Lista, of course. And I think it's important that the local elections will take place so that the self-organization of the Serbs can also express politically in legitimate elected political bodies, which are then having a better competences also to put claims towards the central government in Prishtina and also towards us. But for us it's important to talk to almost everybody.
What do you think? How will this boycott by Srpska Lista affect the political life of Serbs in Kosovo? Will they be legitimate that way, elections, you know?
Well, I mean, it's difficult for me to really predict. In Germany, we have one saying in politics about when guys are leaving. This is the one who is leaving the room has to think about how he will be able to enter it again. And I think that Srpska Lista doesn't yet have a tactics, what is the good way to enter it again. And I think it would be probably a good idea for them to find a way to join in again and put their interests into the political sphere again. On the other hand, I also think that it's their decision, yeah. And I remember that in Serbia, opposition was, for example, boycotting elections, and in the end it wasn't good for the strengths of opposition in Serbia. I don't know if this is one-to-one to be able to be compared, but my feeling is that it would, if I was here, I would not decide this way perhaps, but they also told me about reasons which, how can I judge this? Yeah? We have to accept their decision, but I think it's important that, we cannot always delay elections and again delay elections. This is not Mostar. Yeah? I think elections are important to take place and are actually the moment for also the people to express their will. Yeah? And so I hope that elections will be having like a good possibility to take place, and also a surrounding which is perceived as free and fair as possible.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think about demands of Srpska lista? One of them is actually implementation of association before Srpska lista return to these institutions.
Well, I can just say that Germany and also the other international partners are having since a long outstanding time the position that association of Serbian majority communities has to be on a topical list and has to be delivered. I just think that this discussion is also not so easy to take place just as within one day and then there will be the magic solution and everybody will be fine with it. So I would stick with that. Yeah? We want this to happen and we try to be helpful on the path this to be happen. But the sequencing that Srpska lista is putting there, I wouldn't comment on and not make it to my agenda.
What is your message to Serbs and also to Albanians in Kosovo, in this context? No, not generally just elections, but, whole dialogue. Do you have a message?
Well, I mean, everybody in Kosovo wants to come closer to European Union. And I think the dialogue is, nobody perhaps likes it, but it's the best way to come. And this is the message. Yeah, we are waiting for you, you're waiting for us. So if the dialogue is the right way to do it, you don't have to love the dialogue, but let's go this path anyway. Because the aim you all like, yeah? That's what's coming afterwards. The steps towards European Union, coming closer to us, this is what you for sure like. So don't look on the dialogue only and on the small steps to go and then this is that and that and that, who is winning, who is losing. Because in the end, everybody will win when Kosovo is proceeding towards European Union. Also we, by the way. We will also win, European Union, Germany, if you come closer. Yeah? So let's stick to the common interest. I know it's not a classical Balkan argumentation, but somebody has to still believe in these good things. Otherwise, we also have no chance, right?
And finally, the last question. Can you tell me, how do you comment on the fact that Montenegro got a new president?
Well, I mean, we congratulate, of course, Mr. Milatovic, and we had several talks with him in the past. And I think that also the comments of the outgoing president on how he accepts the result are showing that there's a chance in this. But of course, also the new president will have to show how he can deliver in real politics on the Euro-Atlantic integration of Montenegro. And he will have to prove that he's the right person also to proceed the country on that, together with the results of the parliamentarian elections, which are coming up. And we will be, as Friends of Montenegro, helpful and stand ready to support Montenegro on this path. But we are not only helpful, of course, we are also demanding friends.
Mr. Sarazzin, thank you for talking to us.
Hvala. Hvala vam.